Okay, now that everything's back together, sort of, I'm going to show you how to do a quick communication check before we check any actual other voltages. So first let's check incoming power, alright, 246. Then 1 and 2 is 246 as well. That's going to the indoor unit to power it up. So next is you're going to switch to DC volts. Then the number 3 terminal to ground. Okay, fluctuating DC signal between 50 and 100. Lowest was 76, highest looks like about 110, 115. Okay, so that's all good. Then you're going to get a DC voltage to ground on the wire, 180. Okay, that's a good reading. So some manufacturer will have you check it, the 2 to 3, and you notice that that does pulse. Sometimes with this meter, if it gets real crazy, you can go ahead and range it out. And if you range it out, sometimes that helps smooth out those fluctuations a little bit better. So, alright, so we established that we have DC communication. We established that we have power coming in. We have power going to everything that we want to. So, next is I'm going to show you how to check the DC voltage to the... Then, what you do is you go on the back of the board. And if you find where the outdoor fan motor plugs in on the bottom, then it's a whole lot easier to find where the pins are at the top. Now on the bottom, the fan motor plugs in about right here. So we're going to find it in that general vicinity of the board. I'm going to put our needle points back on. Then you're going to go from the black to the red, which is your DC voltage power, and that's going to be this one out by itself right here, and this guy right next to it. Let me get the meter set so you guys can see. Okay, right there. Then we'll go red to black. 335. You leave the black on the black, and then we'll go to the neighboring one, which is white. For the module power, it's 15. That is correct. So, suspect that you have an expansion valve problem. There's a way to check that to see if you have the proper DC voltage going to the expansion valve coil. Now, how you do that is you use the black that you use for the DC common on the fan motor, and then you locate where the expansion valve is, which is over here on CN40, and then you're going to go from each common to each pin. You should get 12 to 13 volts. Okay, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. Okay, all right, easy enough, right? If any of those pins here on the expansion valve do not equal 12 or 13 volts, then you have an output issue from the board, which would cause you to not operate the valve, to not drive the valve. The valve, unfortunately though, would make noise and would indicate that it is trying to drive, and you in your mind might think that it might be driving, but it actually is not driving. So next we're going to show how to check the thermistor. So you see, if you use the same common to one side, you'll find one of them is 5, which that one is. And then if you check it to the other pin next to it, 3.4. You'd correlate that to your chart, and then that would give you the actual value that the thermistor is reading at that current time. This is valuable because as the unit is running and you're trying to evaluate performance, if you're getting an erroneous reading out of a sensor or a thermistor, then that can cause you to control the machine improperly or erratically. By checking that, you can get actual voltage for the sensor, then you can correlate that to temperature, and you can know what's happening in real time right there in front of your face. You just have to gather the information and then crunch the number and figure it out. It really is not anything more difficult than that. And right here, these pins that are associated with the fan motor, this pin here, CN62, is going to be for your outdoor thermistor. This CN61, that's going to be your discharge pipe thermistor, and your pipe thermistor heat for your heat exchanger on the outdoor expansion valve right here. And then you have some other random things that you can also check your four-way valve output in AC volts right there. So I think that is going to conclude this video. I hope you enjoyed it.